Hey everyone, it's Callum from Cagefront here. Welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here, welcome to the channel. We are going to be predicting and breaking down all of the best fights and giving all of the fight card awards for UFC Fight Night, Derrick Lewis versus Tallison Teixeira, the absolute swang and bang of a fight card in Nashville, Tennessee. And when I say swang and bang, we have got Junior Tafa on the card, we have got Valter Walker on the card, we have got Nzechukwu on the card, we have got Derrick the Black Beast Lewis versus Tallison Teixeira on the card. So there is going to be knockouts absolutely everywhere. I am bloody hoping so, and that's making me keen for this card. As well as Wonderboy versus Gabriel Bonfim. That's a great co-main event. As well as Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia, the immovable object versus the unstoppable force on the main card. I am very keen to get into this one, so let's waste no more time. Let's get in with the first fight of Nzechukwu versus Valter Walker. Now, this is on the prelims, but this is a fight that I got to get into because this is definitely, first of all, a tough matchup, but it's an important matchup because whoever wins out of these guys realistically is going to be getting a top 15 shot after this. And Nzechukwu, he's looked great coming from light heavyweight to heavyweight. 6'5", 83-inch reach. The guy just belongs at heavyweight, to be honest. Showed some amazing durability at light heavyweight, but I think that this is just the better division for him because I think he just needs that slower pace, and the weight translation for him in terms of the power that he showed against Chris Barnett and against Gretzky as well. He's just looked like a menace at heavyweight so far. But on the other side, we do have Valter Walker, who's just adding a breath of fresh air to the heavyweight division because he's grappling. He's getting heel hooks in there. I mean, he's just beaten Junior, who's on this card, who we'll get into, and he's beaten other guys as well. I mean, he just beat Dontel Mays the exact same way in his last fight. Like, he is definitely dangerous and is adding a new element of danger to that division, like Jailton Almeida and Tom Aspinall do as well. So it's good to have him in here. But when we look at Nzechukwu, 5-inch reach advantage here, great knees and straight shots. So I really think if this is going to be at range, I think Nzechukwu is going to be able to knock Valter Walker out. I'm going to be honest here, if it's staying at range. And Nzechukwu needs to use that reach, really needs to frame with that lead hand, utilize the jab extremely well to keep Walker away from him and stun him, because if Walker gets on the inside, I think he's going to be able to get the takedown here. I've seen Nzechukwu against bloody Ion Cutelaba got taken down pretty easily with body locks in that fight, and Valter Walker is very good with body lock takedowns, and that's where I'm a little bit concerned about Nzechukwu. And Valter Walker, as we know, he's definitely got a submission threat there. So I do think this is just literally a case of if it stays on the feet and Nzechukwu can keep Walker at bay, Nzechukwu can knock him out pretty much late or possibly get a decision. But if Valter Walker is getting him down, then I think he's going to be able to submit him. And that's the thing here. I think that Valter Walker is good underdog money to take here to get a submission win, because being his size, he's bigger than Nzechukwu, and he is so fast on his entries. He's a very fast, filled out heavyweight, hasn't shown any concern in terms of really not getting takedowns. I mean, he struggled a tiny bit against Gretzky, but he was able to get him down in the end and was able to win that third round against him. But aside from that, realistically, he's looked fantastic. I think Walker, seriously, if he's getting Nzechukwu down, I think it's just a problem where I think he's going to be able to expose Kennedy, and I think he's going to be able to get a submission in the first or the second round. I think within one of those rounds, if he's able to do it, I mean, it's perfect, because I think leading on from that, I think Nzechukwu, especially starting back on the feet, gives him a huge chance to take Walker out. But I think Walker's just too smart to let that happen. I think he's going to get the takedown, get Nzechukwu down, and hunt some form of rear naked choke or possibly an arm triangle finish. Just too much weight for Nzechukwu to deal with on top. And yeah, ultimately, I think Walker is going to be able to get this one done, and I am going to give him my Fighter to Watch award, because not only has he got some name value from his brother as well, being Johnny Walker, but he's really delivering in this heavyweight division, and he's very fast, super quick, has a grappling-based game, and has 6 KOs on his record. So he's got avenues everywhere, and that, in a shitty division like heavyweight, is showing some serious promise, and I think he's going to be able to crack into the top 15 very soon, especially if he gets a finish against Nzechukwu in this fight. Moving up the card to Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tokkos. Now, Tafa, he has no ground game, and Tokkos is just not UFC caliber. And I do think whoever loses this, one of them is getting cut, or if the fight drags out and it's shit, I think they're both probably going to get cut. But I do think when it comes to the Tafa brothers, obviously they've been memed on a bit because of their records, but I do think that they're just not going to be cutting them until the UFC's deal with Sydney is done. They've got another pay-per-view to deliver, and when it comes to Australia, it's really hard to get fighters, international fighters, over to Australia because of Australia's tax laws. So I think they really need any bloody Aussie fighters they can get at the moment to fulfill that Sydney deal. Then after that, I think we're going to be seeing the Tafa brothers cut. But looking at it now, if Tafa is going to show anything to make sure that he can stay in the UFC, I think that this is a great fight for him because he's moving down to light heavyweight, which I think is a great weight translation for him. It's just going to be a great move for him because he's not that big of a heavyweight. He doesn't have a lot of muscle density. He has a lot of power, but not a lot of muscle density. And I think with him cutting down that just extra bit of weight, he's going to be faster, and he is the technically better striker here. I mean, his brother's shown that these reaches that they have aren't really much of an issue when it gets into a firefight. And a guy like Tuco Tokkos just doesn't have the greatest fight IQ, to be honest, unless he's, trying to make it a 15-minute clinch fest against the cage by just holding on for dear life. And that's what I think Tuco Tokkos is going to do. I don't really see Tokkos being able to get Tafa down like straight away unless he's really been working on his grappling, because he doesn't really just have a strong point, to be honest. I don't think Tuco Tokkos is that fantastic anyway. Plus he's 35 years old. He's getting older. Tafa, he's only 28 years old. He's still got time left in him, and he's got the speed. He's got the power in his hands more so than Tokkos as well. And if this is staying on the feet, I think Tafa can take him out. Tafa has to make sure that he can get out of those clinch exchanges against the cage and get his back off the cage. And as long as he can do that, which I do think that he can, and I think he can stuff the takedowns of Tokkos, because he has shown promise in that against like Muhammad Usman as well. I believe that he can get this one done, and I think it's going to be a KO TKO finish. He's just faster on the feet. He's going to be lighter at light heavyweight, and he really needs that win, and I think he's going to get it done in the second round. I think Tokkos is going to be grinding him out a lot through the first round, possibly even take it, just really frustrate Tafa, but I think Tafa's just going to absolutely take no chances there in the second round. He's just going to go absolutely balls to the wall and take Tokkos out, and I think he's going to ground and pound split him from consciousness in the second round. Moving on to Vitor Petrino versus Austen Lane. Now, just like Junior Tafa dropping down to light heavyweight, Vitor Petrino moving up to heavyweight is a great weight translation. I think that this is a great move as well, and I will be very shocked if this one goes to a decision, because these guys, I mean, Vitor Petrino and Austen Lane are either knocking people the fuck out or they're getting knocked the fuck out. Both of their chins are definitely heavily compromised. I mean, Austen Lane got absolutely fucked up by Mario Pinto in his last fight, cleaned up, folded like a fucking lawn chair. And Vitor Petrino got Dustin Jacoby'd badly in his last fight, absolutely terribly. So they're both coming off vicious losses, and honestly, like, if this stays on the feet, I don't think Austen Lane himself is UFC caliber, but if this stays on the feet, Austen Lane can win this fight. I think there is a strong possibility there, because Vitor Petrino, I will say, ever since he got taken out the first time by Anthony on Paper Smith, he has been pretty gun shy. You can see that he is quite gun shy when he is striking, and I think that that is a huge issue when it comes to this fight, where Austen Lane does have a reach advantage against him, and Austen Lane does have some pretty nice straight shots when it comes to his boxing. So I think that there is a chance for Austen there, and he's got 11 KOs, but also Lane isn't the greatest when it comes to takedown defense, to be honest, and being on the ground, he's kind of a fish out of water, and he's going to need the takedown defense on lock in this fight. I mean, as long as Vitor Petrino is using an ounce of bloody fight IQ, because Petrino, he's a guy that can use heavy cage-based grappling. He's fairly good at chain wrestling and getting the fight to the ground, and that's what I think he's going to be able to do here. I think he's just going to be able to swarm Austen Lane. I think he's going to be able to get him down. I think he's just going to be able to ground and pound him out on the ground. I think Petrino at heavyweight, he's going to be dense. He's going to be dense, and Austen Lane is so long. If he's getting mounted or even put in half, like top half, like I think that there's just nowhere for him to really go, and that's just a matter of time before Petrino, I think, just takes him out with the KO TKO and the ground and pound. And I think it's going to be at the end of round 1, and I got to give Vitor Petrino the performance of the night award here. I just think that honestly, the performance is going to be pretty great if he's literally just utilizing takedowns and getting this fight to the ground. Don't worry about the striking on the feet. Get Austen Lane to the ground, and then you'll be able to take him out. Like, it's pretty simple for me here, and I think if Petrino's doing that, which I think he can, he's getting the performance of the night award for me. Now, moving up the card to Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charriere. Now, this is definitely an interesting fight, and we're moving away from the bloody heavyweights now. But this is definitely worth the watch because these guys are very, very technical. I mean, we know bloody Nate Landwehr is an absolute dog. He's got a very high output. He's very good at overwhelming his opposition, using really nice dirty boxing in clinch range. And if he is in clinch range with Morgan Charriere, that's his best bet to take Morgan Charriere out. And Nate Landwehr's got power in his hands, and he can do it. He can definitely do it. Nate the Train, if anyone's going to do it, it's bloody Nate the Train or Ilya Taporia. But that's easier said than done because Morgan Charriere, he's very good when it comes to just strike accuracy in general. Like, he absorbs a lot less than Nate Landwehr as well, and Nate Landwehr getting inside. Morgan Charriere is a bit of a sniper on his day, and that's where Landwehr is going to be eating some shots, and Morgan Charriere mixes up his striking a lot better than Nate Landwehr does. Really clean boxing to set up those brutal body kicks. And that's where I think if Charriere is slowing Landwehr down to any extent, which I think he can through to the start of the second round, Landwehr's going to be in a bit of trouble in this fight, to be honest. And Morgan Charriere is a guy who's never been finished by strikes, and we know he's damn durable because we literally saw against Nate Wood. He got a straight down the pipe and just like that pumped his chin, got dropped, and he was able to out-transition Nate Wood at points on the ground. He recovered that well. And that's where when I talk about those transitions against Nate Wood, Morgan Charriere, the ground game is just so much better than Nate Landwehr's, to be honest. Like, his grappling, his transitional capabilities are just really, really underrated. Really underrated. And I think he's just got more avenues to honestly win here. And Nate Landwehr, honestly, well, that's like what he struggled against Doo Ho Choi. There was just too many tools for Doo Ho Choi to use, especially when it came to that wrestling. He was just getting consumed. And Morgan Charriere has a very underrated wrestling game as well. And that's where I think Morgan Charriere, I think through the second and third round, I think he's going to be outlanding Nate Landwehr. I think he's going to be able to use the grappling very well, and he's going to out-transition him on the ground. I think he's going to get a decent amount of control time here. And I do think that he is going to be able to take a decision win here. I think, not to forget as well, he's got a judo black belt. Like, that's the thing. He's got the judo black belt as well as decent wrestling pedigree as well. So he's really good at being able to get this fight to the ground, and that's what Nate Landwehr needs to stop. And Nate Landwehr is 8 years older than him. You know, he's 37 years old. He's not getting any younger, and he is slowing down. We can see it. Against Charriere, who's got good evasiveness, especially linear evasiveness, good shot selection, I think it's just going to be a real struggle for him. And ultimately, yeah, I think Morgan Charriere is going to take this 29-28, rounds 2 and 3, and Landwehr is going to outwork him in that first round, but too little too late. Moving up the card to Calvin Kattar, the immovable object, versus Steve Garcia, the unstoppable force. Steve Garcia, my goodness, this guy has so much power in his hands. He's finished like the last 5 guys he's fought in the first round because he has just got so much power. He's got the reach. He's just so confident when he is forward pressuring. And look, Calvin Kattar, this guy, getting his scalp is seriously impressive if he can take Kattar out, because Kattar is 11-1 when it comes to KO TKOs. He lost to Arnold Allen by busting his knee. He's never been taken out, and he has a legendary chin. We look at the Max Holloway fight. The guy has eaten some damn shots, and there's shots that he's eaten in other fights too. He is durable as hell, and when he presses forward, we know he's dangerous. Calvin Kattar against Giga Chikadze, super dangerous. And whoever is getting the forward pressure in this fight is going to be winning this fight. And I think, honestly, Calvin Kattar could knock Steve Garcia out if this is going later than 2.5 rounds. Like, honestly, if this is going past the second round, there is a huge possibility for Kattar to get the win here if he is increasing his volume, his output, his movement, his work rate. If he's just improving that and consistently doing it, he's going to find success. But we saw against Yusuf Zalal, he starts way too slow and he lets those first rounds get away from him. But the problem here is if he is starting slow and he lets that first round get away from him, I honestly don't think he's getting out of it alive. Like, Steve Garcia is just so dangerous when it comes to his forward pressure, his volume, his boxing that he mixes up on the front foot. I mean, if Calvin Kattar is eating those shots, I think Calvin Kattar is getting taken out, to be honest. Steve Garcia is so dangerous at featherweight with the power, with the frame. I mean, 6 foot, 73-inch reach, super dangerous. But Calvin Kattar, if I'm Calvin Kattar, I'm, using super nice footwork along the outside as much as possible, or I'm really just forward pressuring the shit out of Steve Garcia in the first round to try and put him on the back foot. If he can get that done, then I mean, like, there's a possibility for Kattar. But I just think from the track record of Kattar and what we've seen of him in the first round and how slow he starts, that is going to be the worst thing to happen if he's fighting Steve Garcia. And I just don't think he's just going to randomly change. And Steve Garcia on the front foot with the power that he has, the record that is shown, he is going to get that KO TKO here, and he is getting my finish of the night award for sure, because if he is finishing a legendary chin like Calvin Kattar outside of the top 15 to then get into the top 15, being the first guy to KO him, he is putting the whole featherweight division on notice 100%, and I think he can get it done. Moving on to our co-main event, we have got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim. Now, this is a very good fight. Honestly, I do feel sorry for Stephen Thompson. We want to see him against strikers. 42 years old, man. Stop giving him fucking grapplers, It's just annoying. And Bonfim, 13-0 with submissions. And I will say for Bonfim as well, the kickboxing has definitely improved. Now, it's improved heavily, I will say. He's looking really good, especially with his combinations, utilizing a really nice jab. Considering his reach is so short, he is really good with the timing on his jab, and that's improved over the last couple of fights. But I will say, as any of you guys would think as well, Gabriel Bonfim is pretty out of his damn mind if he is going to be staying on the feet with Wonderboy Thompson, because even though Thompson's 42, the guy is a striking god. Like, let's be honest here. So, especially with the Taekwondo-based techniques and the karate-based techniques, using those kicks at range against Bonfim, where Bonfim is going to struggle to counter him when it comes to that shorter reach with the arms. If Bonfim's along the outside and Wonderboy's really getting in his rhythm, I think Wonderboy can knock him out, to be honest. I'll be honest here. But Bonfim, he's not going to be an idiot here. He's got the chance to get into the top 15 by taking out Wonderboy. He is going to use what he uses best. He is going to get Thompson into a body lock. He is going to get him against the cage. He's going to throw him to the ground. And then the transitional capabilities of Bonfim are just going to be too much. They're just going to be too much for Thompson, because a big thing with Thompson that I don't think a lot of people realize is that, granted, he's only been submitted once by Shavkat Rakhmonov, but he's had like barely any submission attempts against him in his UFC career. Like, no one has really actually attempted submissions against him. People have just really tried to control him. Like, Gilbert Burns tried like once, Bilal tried like once or twice, and then Shavkat tried twice. Like, he couldn't get one, but then he got the next one, obviously. But that's where Thompson has never gone against a guy that has so much of an offensive submission-based game. He's never gone against someone that has it this aggressive. Like, he's gone against Gilbert Burns, who is aggressive when it comes to it, and he's good at it, but not the same level as Gabriel Bonfim. Bonfim is just, he is a transitional nightmare on the ground, and I think he is going to expose that submission defense of Wonderboy. And I think that transitional capability, Thompson's transitional capabilities on the ground defensively are good. don't get me wrong, they are good. But Bonfim, when it comes to his transitional capability to actually hunt submissions, through 15 minutes, if Bonfim is actually using his brain cells to get this to the ground, he's going to be able to find a submission here. And I do think it's going to be able to come at the end of round 1. I honestly just don't see Thompson being able to keep him at bay for that amount of time. And the problem is, on the flip side, with Thompson's Taekwondo and karate-based style, is that he's using that lead leg. And if he misses with that lead leg and that is still up top, Bonfim is going to throw him to the ground quick. Like, he's going to body lock him so easy, take him down, or even just hunt the single, ride it, and drop him. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm very confident that Bonfim is going to be able to get this to the ground. And Wonderboy, in his last 5 fights, he's been taken down every single fight. So I've just got to be taking Bonfim here. First round submission, I think it'll be a rear naked choke finish, possibly an arm triangle. Now, moving on to the main event, the swang and bang extraordinaire, Derrick the Black Beast Lewis, my balls is hot, versus Tallison Teixeira, who I got to see live against Junior Tafa. Tallison annihilated him with basically one shot. Tallison is super dangerous, 25 years old. He's a young gun. He's a behemoth, 6'7", 83-inch reach. The guy's a freak. But Derrick the Black Beast Lewis, man, I'm not going to lie. I just got a feeling in my gut. That I think Derrick Lewis is going to knock him out. We can look at part analysis with it. It's kind of hard when they're just swang and bang heavyweights, but honestly, like, Tallison Teixeira, we saw him on Dana White's Contender Series. He doesn't have the greatest head movement when he's pushed backwards, and when he's getting into firefights, he's been tagged multiple times. And in that fight, granted, he did show a chin, but he's not going against Derrick Lewis's bloody hands. And Derrick Lewis, I just don't see him getting, like, fully bum rush like Tafa did, because Derrick Lewis, he's got more sneaky tools. Like, he's got high kicks, he's got flying knees, he's got these tools that are pretty dangerous. And Lewis, even though he doesn't really use a ground game, he still can take the opposition down, unlike Junior Tafa. So that's still something that Tallison has to be aware of. And Derrick Lewis has just got so much more experience than Teixeira, like a stupendous amount, like 5-6 times more. Granted, he's 15 years older than Tallison Teixeira, which is, you know, if Lewis is slow in that first round to the point where Tallison's just backing him up, Tallison's realistically probably just going to knock him out. But I think if Derrick Lewis is either getting into an even exchange, or especially if Derrick Lewis is pressuring Teixeira backwards, yeah, Derrick Lewis is going to knock him out, I do believe. Tallison does keep his chin pretty high, granted, because he's just huge, so it's pretty just normal for taller fighters to do that. But you got to take into account, even though he's lost to a few of them, Lewis has fought guys like Pavlovich, Almeida, Nascimento, Curtis Blades, fucking Daniel Cormier. Like, the list goes on. He's fought a lot of these really high-level dudes, and I'm not saying that Tallison Teixeira isn't high-level. Like, he just doesn't have the experience yet, but at a $3 underdog, honestly, I think I'm going to be taking Derrick Lewis by the KO TKO, probably in the second round. Honestly, probably end of the first. It could be in the first 5 seconds. Who even bloody knows? Just a swang and bang fun fight card, but I really do think with the timing on Lewis's strikes, and if he's able to even out the pressure or pressure Tallison Teixeira backwards, I think he's got the tools to do it, because he's been in so many more firefights than Tallison Teixeira has. And realistically, in these kind of fights, the stats kind of go out the fucking window. Like, whoever lands first is dying. So, yeah, I do think Derrick Lewis can get it done here. And if he is, that's going to be my Upset of the Night award for sure. And that is going to be a hilarious way to go out with this. And if Derrick Lewis is main eventing and we see him with a crowd and he's winning by knockout, the balls are going to be hot. That's all I need to say. I really hope you enjoyed this predictions and breakdown video, and if you want to see more MMA-based content, definitely check out the video on the screen, and please like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel, and I really hope you enjoy the fight card this weekend, and I will catch you in the next one.